Welcome to Beantown Fantasy Football. It's week 8. This is the wide receiver edition. We're a bit short on commentators, but not short on advice, that's for sure. With me is Mark Fury. I'm the Jaker. This is the wide receiver edition. Let's get started. Wide receiver. Who should be in the fans' starting lineup in week 8?
Well, one guy who should be in everyone's starting lineup this week is Stone Cold Miles Austin. He's facing the Seattle Seahawks, and in case you haven't noticed, the Cowboys have a true number one receiver. He's big, he's fast, he does just about everything for that team. The last 2 games, he has 421 yards and 4 touchdowns. Sure, they came against weak defenses, but Seattle's defense isn't really that great either, and Tony Romo's really starting to rely on Austin. Start Austin every week, not just against the weak defenses. He's no fluke.
Stone Cold Miles Austin.
Stone Cold.
You heard it here first. All right, who is not going to be in your lineup in week 8?
Well, it's kind of tough to say this because he's been so good for so long, but this week I don't like Anquan Boldin against Carolina. Boldin, he didn't look very good last week. He put up decent yards, but he was clearly hobbled by that ankle injury. He's still questionable this week, and he just didn't have that burst that you want from a top receiver. Someone like Boldin really, needs to be able to make plays downfield. He's kind of a possession guy, but he has the big playability too, and if you take that away from him, it really hurts his value. Carolina plays pretty well against the pass, and so even if he was healthy, you'd want to start him, but at the same time, he wouldn't be a top level guy either, most likely, especially with Fitzgerald on the other side. So I'm gonna bench Boldin, and you have better options than Boldin this week. I mean, when he comes back healthy, you put him in there every week and you don't really worry about him. But with that ankle injury, I want to wait until he's 100% before I put him back in.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is actually going to be a better week for Arizona's running game and their passing game overall.
Beanie Wells looked really good last week.
He did. So, I feel safe with that advice. Also going into week 8, I am going to be starting Jericho Cotchery of the New York Jets. Now, they say he could be a game-time decision, but I've also heard that he looked fantastic in practice. I was on the Jets site today reading what they have to say. It looks good. I think he's going to be starting. They are going against a Miami defense that has given up, 7 touchdowns through the air over the course of the season. And they rank 19th against the pass overall. Miami's run defense is really where that suffocation is. And I think you're going to have some really good opportunities for Jericho Cotchery. He really clicked with Alex Sanchez. I mean, there's no doubt that Sanchez's numbers plummeted as soon as Cotchery left with that injury he suffered from practice. But with him back, I see good things for Sanchez against a tough Dolphins defense. But I like Cotchery in this one.
I like Cotchery too, assuming that he's healthy.
Yes.
This is one of those ones you got to check on Sunday morning and make sure that he's going to play and that he's going to play the whole game. Now, if he does play, don't worry about him because he's the number one guy in New York, and they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit to beat this team because I don't really see them running the ball as well. If you saw the running back version of the show, you know why we don't like the Jets running backs this week. But they're going to move the ball a little bit, and Jericho Cotchery is definitely the guy through the air.
I like Cotchery. I think if things go well, he could put up at least 100 yards and a score. I would take that to the bank, assuming he plays. Like Mark said, make sure you check. But, going into a bye week, we got to try to make those tough calls, and this is definitely one of them. Now, one that is not a tough call is Braylon Edwards, the counterpart of Cotchery. I see no chemistry with him and Sanchez. He seems distracted by whatever is going on. He's as bad on the field as he is off the field these days. This was actually the scariest costume I could find, folks, is a Braylon Edwards jersey. Cleveland, nonetheless. But definitely no laughing matter. Halloween is coming up, and there's going to be no scarier start than Braylon Edwards. Don't do it.
I'm with you on that one. I don't like Braylon Edwards at all. I thought that the trade to New York was going to really help him out. He looked good on the Monday night game a couple of weeks ago in his first start with the Jets. But since then, he's disappeared and he's playing like he did in Cleveland again. He can't catch the ball. He's not getting open. He just looks like he doesn't care if he does well. And that's the biggest problem because he has so much talent.
He does, but attitude is so important. It really makes the difference.
Yep.
All right, well, for me, it's easy to say those two sit, start, but we're going into week 8. There are a lot of important buys this week. Cincinnati, New England, Pittsburgh, Washington, Kansas City, and Tampa Bay all out of action this week. So you're looking for help at wide receiver. Who should I pick up? I would go ahead and pick up, if he's still available, Donnie Avery of the St. Louis Rams going against the horrendous Detroit defense. I think if Mark Bulger throws that ball anywhere, it's going to be in his direction. Points per reception is huge. I think he could be good. 100 yards, at least a score. He could be a sneaky pickup this week.
I like Avery too. I mean, he's starting to play well in the past couple of weeks. They lost Laurent Robinson for the season early in the year, and that made Avery the by default number 1 receiver. Bulger's got to throw him to somebody. But another guy I really like this week is James Jones of the Green Bay Packers. Greg Jennings is kind of struggling a little bit, and James Jones is a big play threat. He's scored in 2 straight weeks, and he's averaging 19.7 yards per catch. They're going to have to air it out a little bit to beat Minnesota, and with Antoine Winfield out, I can see a couple of big plays, and probably one of them to James Jones.
I think James Jones is going to fly high this weekend as well. All right, those are our sleepers. We understand that we have another comment, a question.
We have a question from Andrew in Dorchester. He said, I have 2 wide receiver spots, and I have Mike Sims-Walker, Johnny Knox, Miles Austin, and Derek Mason. Which 2 should I start? Well, we already made it clear that I like Miles Austin. And I'm a big fan of Mike Sims-Walker. I start him almost every week, although Johnny Knox will be a really strong start too because they're playing against the Ottawa Cleveland team. I got to give the nod to Mike Sims-Walker though. Sims-Walker had 2 touchdowns the last time they played against Tennessee, and he can do that again. Tennessee's defense is really bad, and David Garrard this week I think is going to have a huge week, and it's going to go to Sims-Walker.
All right, Mark, sounds good to me. Keep those questions coming. Thanks for watching. This has been Beantown Fantasy Football Week 8 Wide Receiver Edition. We'll see you again next episode. Keep watching.